Okay, hi Danny. Welcome to lesson number 72. This lesson is going to be so fun because it's very practical for real life. Why? Because they are going to give you a bunch of different information for you to solve problems with, and you have to find out which of that information is important. It's like solving a mystery, only with math. This is awesome. Yay! Okay, the first thing we're going to do though is your 100 multiplication facts. 100 of them. Good thing you have 5 minutes to do it. Okay, so I'm going to let you get out your paper and pencil, get out your multiplication, and you have 5 minutes. On your mark, get set, go. Keep going, Danny. You're doing awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop you right there, Danny. And I hope you enjoyed listening to that music. That was actually Chopin. Chopin, but it's spelled like this. It's spelled like Chopin, like this, Chopin. So you should definitely know that music because he was one of the great composers. You've probably learned some of his songs, I bet. Ask your piano teacher about him. She'll tell you all about him. Anyway, okay, here we go. Let's start with this little comic. So here we have a bunch of numbers talking to each other, and this number is saying, hey man, if you could spare a 10, it would really help me out. Like, it's funny because it seems like he wants to borrow $10, and he does need to borrow because look at the problem. He's a 7, and you have to do 7 minus 9, so you definitely do have to borrow from that 5, turn it into a 4, and make that 17, right? So he really does need to borrow, but it makes it sound like he needs to borrow like $10 or something, huh? All right, let's jump into the lesson. Shadow, get out from over there. Shadow is being a dork. He is like wandering around in the kitchen looking for food. Okay, so let's do mental math now. Mental math, we are going to multiply 2-digit numbers, so this 2-digit number, by a number that ends in 0. Okay, so one way that you could do that is let's look at the first one, 21 times 20. So one way you could do that is to just do 21 times 2. So just kind of double it, and then that gives you 42. And then add a 0 to it because of that 0. So that's one way you could do it. So I already gave you one of the answers, 420. Don't get too distracted by all those supercars right there, okay? Let's do the next one. 25 times 30. Write your answer. C. Let's do 25 times 20. Okay, how about this one? This one looks tricky. $10 minus $2.98. So if I were doing it, I would subtract $3 because that's very close. And then I would know, well, I subtracted too much, so I have to add back 2 cents. Okay, what about E? We're going to do 48 plus 19 plus 310. Whew, that's a lot of numbers there. Let's see if you can get that one. And then F, 490 minus 125. Write your answer. Alrighty, let's do problem solving. Problem solving is about a guy named John. So I'm going to call this guy John right here. Okay, and he's eating. And he figures that about 50% of the calories he consumes, that's kind of like a vocabulary word, huh? That means he eats, like he puts away, he eats it. So he figures half of the calories that he eats are from carbohydrates. That's another fancy word for carbs. Things like bread and chips and potatoes are all made of carbs, right? So anyway, John's eating 50% of the calories he eats are from carbs. Then it says he consumes about 2,000 calories every day. That's about normal for an adult. So I have a kid there, but anyway, that's about normal for an adult. How many calories are from carbs? Okay, so we know he eats 2,000 calories in a day, and we know that 50% of them are from carbs. So what is 50% of 2,000? And then that'll tell you how many calories are from carbs. So I'll let you work on that for a little bit, and you can pause it there, and I am going to move on to this new concept, okay? And this is from Alice in Wonderland, where this evil queen, and she's kind of a tyrant, isn't she? She's saying, this is not on the exam. Wait, let me get to that again. Let's see if I can stop it there. This is not on the exam, but you should still take notes. And they're writing very whatever, nothing important. So that kind of fits with what we're doing today, even though it's distracting, so I'm gonna have to move that out of the way. Because sometimes part of when we are solving math problems, part of that process is finding the information that you need to solve a problem. And sometimes you don't have enough information, and the answer might be, if they give you choices like A, B, C, and A is not enough info. That is sometimes a choice. Like when they give you examinations in the future, you might not have enough information to solve the problem. So you have to know, don't just trust them to give you all the information that you need. Okay, the other problem that sometimes they do, and this is true for real life, is that sometimes you have too much information. This is true for real life because you have all sorts of math problems around you all the time, and you have to pick and choose what information is important for you to be able to solve that problem. Okay, so we're going to do an example because we don't learn math by talking about it. We learn it by doing it, right? So let's jump into this example. And this example is an example of choosing the information that is relevant or important, okay? Now, in this example, they talk about an awards banquet. So that's why I put this picture here of 3 people getting an award. Okay. So it says that the awards banquet was held on Friday, February 2nd. Friday, February 2nd. So that's one piece of information. We'll have to decide later if that's important. For the top award, Lily received 146 votes. So let's say that this one is Lily. I'm going to write her name. I'll make it. This one is Lily, and she got 146 votes. Okay, so I just wrote that in parentheses. Maybe Lily's in the middle. Okay. Now, it also says Kim received 117 votes. Okay, so let's say that this one over here is Kim. So I'm going to write Kim, and then I'm going to put 117 votes because that's how many she got. Okay? And then it says Miguel received 35 more votes than Kim. Okay, so let's say that this one, let's get a different color so I don't get mixed up. This is Miguel. And it doesn't tell you how many votes that he got. It just says he got 35 more than Kim. So I'm going to write K plus 35 because it's how many votes Kim got plus 35 extra votes. Okay? All right, so there's what we know. So the first question is, how many votes did Miguel receive? All right, so let's see if we can solve that one. How many votes did he receive? I'm going to make it tiny and out of the way so we can figure it out. So what I wrote down is I wrote down that he got K plus 35. So do we know how many votes Kim got? Yes, she got 117 votes. Okay, so we can figure that out, no problem. She got 117 votes. If we add 35 votes to that, that's how many Miguel got. Okay, so let's do 117 plus 35. And do you think we can figure that out? I think we can. So let's do 7 plus 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we write 1, 12. I carried the 1. Do you see that little 1 up there? And then I'm adding 3 plus 1, so 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put a 5 here. And then I'm going to do the hundreds place, which is 1 plus 0, so I'll just put a 1 there. Okay, look at this. Miguel got 152 votes. So I'm going to write Miguel got 152 votes. That's interesting because that's actually more votes than what Lily got, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, and that's the second question. The second part of the question right here is who received the most votes? So the answer is Miguel. Now I want you to notice something else about this problem. for the first part of the problem, for A, how many votes did Miguel receive? We did not use the number of votes that Lily got. That wasn't part of the problem. We only needed the information about Kim and that he got 35 more. We also didn't use this information about Friday, February 2nd yet. So they gave us more information than what you needed to solve that first problem. And that's what they mean by you have to pick and choose the information that's important, and you have to figure out what is important, because they might put a lot of extra numbers in the problem that you don't need. Okay, so we figured out A and we figured out B. So I'm gonna go ahead and erase a lot of this because we already figured all of that out. And I need the space because on the last part of the problem, so this is problem C, it says, the votes were cast, that means people actually voted, on Tuesday before the banquet. So then they took Tuesday to Friday, I guess, to count all the votes. The votes were cast on Tuesday before the banquet. What was the date on which the votes were cast? Okay, so now we're not going to use the information about the number of votes at all because that's not important for solving this problem. The thing that is important is that the date is Friday, February 2nd. So I'm going to write that down. Friday, February 2nd. And it wants to know what was the date. So it's going to be, this is tricky, right? Because it's February 2nd. How many days before? So if this happened on a Friday and people actually voted on a Tuesday, if you count with your fingers, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's 3 days earlier. 3 days earlier. But they want to know not just the day, which was Tuesday, they want to know the date. So that would have been sometime in January, the last day of January, because we're already at February 2nd when they counted the votes. So then we have to know how many days are there in January. And you remember that there are either 31 or 30 days in every month except for February. February only has 28. And then I use my little knuckle technique if you count on your knuckles or the space in between your knuckles. And you start with a knuckle. So I know that there are 31 days in January, and that's the last day of January. So if you count the last day of January, then February 1, and then February 2. So this is the third day, the second day, and this is the day that the votes were actually, there's one more, we have to count back 3 days. So this is the third day, the second day, the first day. No, that's only 2 days, because look, this would be, we need one more day before then. We need one more day before then. Why? Because, I'll show you in a second. Let's do January 30, then 31, February 1, February 2. Okay, so let's say that this was Tuesday. Then this is going to be Wednesday, this is going to be Thursday, and this is going to be Friday. So it's 3 days before, but when you count them, you have to do 1 day before, 2 days before, 3 days before. Okay, so this is the actual date. So the actual date was Tuesday, January 30th. That was tricky. That was hard for me. Hopefully I bet you figured it out right away, but that was a little tricky for me because I had to actually do this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and figure it out that way. So now that makes sense. The date was Tuesday, January 30 when the votes were cast. Okay, so guess what? Now it is time for you to show me what you can do with your homework. Okay, so good luck doing your math today, Danny. Love ya. Bye.